What a month, you know? This is a lot has happened. Taylor Swift's album dropped. And OJ died. White women are having a month. This is... Wow, this month is for you specific. The two best things that could happen happened for you. Wow. You'd think this month was really named after a white woman named April. Like, incredible. Nah, Taylor Swift is breaking so many records. Like, I'm sure she's breaking them now as I'm speaking. She released her album, it hits 300 million streams in the first 12 hours. It's like, never happened before, ever. And people are freaking out about reading into the lyrics of every song. There's like scavenger hunts, there's everything. And this is the thing for me with Taylor. A lot of people trash Taylor, and I don't know, I don't get it. If somebody likes something, let them have it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it brings people joy. It's not hurting anybody, except maybe Taylor's exes. Like, it's hurting nobody. Like, people are having a good time and stuff. If anything, I hope it makes the world a bit more compassionate, you know? There are a lot of people that like Taylor, and the people that don't get it. But I hope that the people that like Taylor will be able to give some grace, because I think that Taylor Swift, she does for her fans what wrestling does for dudes. Do you know what I mean? Like, because if you're not a wrestling fan, you're like, what are they even doing? Why are they moving all stupid? It's just... But if you get it, you're in it. And you're like, you just don't get it. You weren't there, you know? But they're very similar, you know? If you don't like it, you don't get it. And you're like, who likes this? And it turns out the answer to both is millions of people. You know? Same way that there are a lot of little girls and young women out there that want to be Taylor Swift, or older women that see themselves in Taylor Swift. I think every man in here has looked at a wrestler and... Every man in here has watched some wrestling at some point and then walked away like, I wish somebody would f*** with me. Like, I wish... I would just... There are people that listen to Taylor Swift songs and feel it. Like, truly feel, like in their bones, you can tell they feel the song. It speaks to them in a deep way, and they've never been in a relationship at all. Like Taylor's describing her breakup in an exquisite fashion, but then a person who's never been through anything is like, oh my God, yes, yes. It's just like that time this other totally unrelated thing happened to me, yes. Same thing with wrestling, you know? Wrestling storylines tear you up. You know? Like when a wrestler turns heel and he turns on all his friends. Guys watch that and we're like, just like Greg. Triple H, he really evil. Oh. I didn't grow up with money. I think it's funny when people make a lot of money and they're known as new money, you know? And people how they feel how they feel about it. You know, like a lot of athletes are new money, a lot of entertainers are new money and everything. But nobody ever talks about new poor. We never talk about new poor, and we don't feel bad for new poor. A new money backstory is always inspiring. It's always like, I came from nothing, and I studied hard, and I played football to the best of my ability, and then I got a scholarship. Got a scholarship to a good school, a scout school. And then I played every day like the scout was there every day. I put my body on the line, and I still studied as hard as possible in case football didn't work out. But you know what? I had a great game in front of a scout. They brought me out. Next thing I know, I'm getting drafted. And now I'm one of the top earners in the NFL. We love a story like that because it felt like all you really needed was to do your best, and you could make something out of that. So we love new money. But nobody ever talks about new poor. Not only do we not talk about new poor, we don't really feel bad for new poor. Yeah, but you ever hear a new poor story where it's like, oh, as a family, we were kind of a dynasty. We were rich for 250 years because we owned a lot of farms. Yeah, we owned a lot of farms, and we were big in tobacco, and so as the farming industry lended itself to a more industrial tobacco industry, we profited, and it was my great-great-grandfather that actually sold his shares in the tobacco company, and he had other ventures that he wanted to go into, and he had some sons, but only one of the sons really had kids, and so all the wealth just kept getting consolidated. Less and less people had kids, so then it was all down to Trent. And Trent took some big swings with crypto, and it didn't go as planned. And so that's why Trent is working at this Piggly Wiggly. And why he's not a very good sweeper. He doesn't really understand the broom needs to touch the ground. He just... It is genuinely hilarious watching someone rich try to do a job. It's a little disheartening, but you're also like, look at him go. Oh, I remember my first experience with new poor was a kid in my neighborhood. I didn't always live at the best neighborhoods. I'll put it like that. And there was a kid when I was little that moved in, and you could tell he was new poor. We were playing. I think we were just playing in like this lot, and he walked up to us, and he had just moved in with his parents, and you could tell he was new poor because his name. You could tell he was new poor because his name was Thurston. And I remember when he said it, and there's a thing with kids where, for whatever reason, and it just is what it is. Sometimes kids take a certain shine to each other, or they don't like each other, or whatever. But we liked him as soon as we met him. We just really did, and he was so earnest. He's a sweet kid, and so we were just like, you can play with us. We don't care. And we didn't even really have a concept of money in that way to look at him sideways, right? We were all just kids. But when he said that his name was Thurston, I was kind of like, ooh. That's the most punchable name I've ever heard in my life. So, look, I tell you what, we gonna call you 30. And if anybody asks why, just say you did something real bad 30 times. And so we used to love hanging out with 30. And 30 was new poor because his family had been rich for a long time. They probably owned a few farms. But 30's dad lost it all in the .com bubble. I don't know. Yeah, I guess if you don't know anything about it, back in the day when the internet was very new, a lot of companies were like adding these online sides to their brick and mortar stores, which was obviously super profitable for some businesses, and for some businesses it didn't matter at all because it was about the infrastructure of being able to send everything. But we didn't know that initially, so there were some companies whose stock price went up just because they had a website. And then it all came crashing down when people started looking for returns on these incredible stock prices. But most of these companies just had like a website with a broken link. And so, you know, you couldn't pull your money out fast enough, and 30's dad didn't pull his money out at all. So they moved in next to us. And we take walks and stuff. We like walk around neighborhood once in a while and everything. And there was a dog. There was a dog that was in the yard of one of our neighbors way down the street. And this dog was a big dog, and he had like a big thick collar, and he had a chain that he would wear, and the chain had some length to it, and the chain was around the tree. And, you know, 30, he hated it. He hated it every time he saw it. It made him sick that there was a dog that was outside chained up against a tree. It didn't matter how much room he had to run around and stuff. He just didn't like the concept. And he'd bring it up. Every time we passed by, he's like, they got that dog chained to the tree like some kind of animal. And I was like, yeah, 30. Crazy stuff. And look, I'm not even saying that is right. I'm just saying it was a very big dog. Like, it was... Like, every time 30 would like protest that he want to go over there, he's like, I just want to like let him free. You should be able to run around. I was like, all right, but okay, listen. At that house, they live with that dog. So they probably know something we don't. Maybe they tried the whole freedom thing out. Maybe they used to have 2 dogs. That's a big ass dog. Maybe I'm not saying you have to love it. I'm not saying it's not wrong. I'm just saying that they may have tried other things. Maybe they tried making them inside dog. Maybe they used to have more family members. So you see what I'm saying? And there was one day where we were walking down the street together, and he peeled off from us, and he did it without saying anything, because I knew that he knew if he said something, we would try to stop him. But he just started walking over towards that house, and I told him, I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure that's a dog from the Sandlot. So you really don't need to be playing games. Don't go over there, right? And then even as we saw him peel, we were like, 30, where you going? 30, what are you doing? 30. Started saying it slow like it was his real name. 30! Get back over here. And this kid climbed the fence, jumped over, and the dog is like laying down, but he's not asleep, but he's just sort of laying in the grass. And 30 jumped over the fence, ran over to the chain, and the chain had no lock. It was just wrapped. And so 30 pulled it a little bit, released the slack from the end of that chain, and the whole chain just drops to the ground. And now the dog has not been moving. Dog's just sort of laying there. But the dog heard the chain drop, and he felt the slack release on his collar. And the dog turned around and looked at 30, and even the dog was like, are you sure? You must be new poor. And so the dog turns around, and he just, I don't know, just, you know, like when an animal is made of muscle? When they just have like phenomenal National Geographic level power? This dog whipped around and just started charging at 30, right? Now 30, in his very sweet mind, he thinks that this dog is bounding towards him for a hug. And so he actually starts to bend down and open his arms. He's just getting a wide stance. Now the dog, because the chain did have a ton of length to it. I want to be clear. This dog wasn't wrapped up against a tree like some Tom and Jerry cartoon. This dog actually was bounding for a while. And he was bounding so fast that, like, it was either all 4 feet touching the ground or nothing. Like, the dog was like this or it was like this. I've never seen a dog float like that. Like, the dog is coming at him like a bullet. And from where we were standing, by the way, all of us had been yelling run. We've been yelling run since we saw that the chain had no lock on it. And so then you see Larry, just arms open, but even he started to be like, huh. I've never seen this sort of reaction from a young pup before. And the dog is bounding towards him. And as it starts to really get close, 30 immediately just turns around and starts to run. But his wires are so crossed, he's still in the crab stance. So he's like, ah! And he grabs the fence and he climbs up the fence. He climbs up the fence so fast that he doesn't even try to get over the other side. He just slams to the ground on the other side. And he gets up and he dusts himself off. And he walks up to us. And I'm like, I told you that was the dog from the Sandlot. Why would you go over there? It's your new poor ass.
Make some noise for Josh Johnson!
There's so much is going into the Super Bowl this year. Not only is it Chiefs versus Eagles, there's so much more at play, you know? Like, everybody talks about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce because they're this idea of, like, the couple we imagine in our minds, but they're adults. It's like high school, but grown up. You know what I mean? Because she symbolically is like this cheerleader in our minds, this like head cheerleader, and it's not his position, but it's symbolically the quarterback in our minds. And so them getting together makes such perfect rom-com sense that there are actually people who think that all of the NFL is fixed just to keep the Chiefs winning, just to keep them going. And honestly, you gotta have to give Taylor props. There are people that think she's so powerful. She is single-handedly shifting the course of the NFL. You know? Because this is my thing with it. You know, if it's fixed, why would they be tackling so hard? You don't need to sell it that bad. If most of the teams know they're not going to the Super Bowl, I think you lay off of a couple hits. I don't think anybody's getting CTE as part of a script. I look at Taylor Swift, I look at what they did to Taylor Swift, especially that part of the season when her and Travis Kelce were just starting to date and they cut to her for no reason. And then people got mad that they were cutting to her. They'd be like, why do you keep cutting to Taylor? But Taylor can't control the camera. Taylor was just trying to eat. And then they cut to her, and then she's doing her best to probably not look annoyed, but also she's genuinely having a good time. She's there with her friends. Yeah, touchdown, yeah, right. But then people are like, why do you keep cutting to her? I don't know. This has never happened before. Cameraman's excited too. They might not even mean to cut to her every time. They're just probably like, man, this is a good play, but I wonder what Taylor's up to. Don't get mad at Taylor because the cameraman got a crush. And so then Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce together. Now Travis Kelce is an interesting dude to me. He really is. because Travis Kelce, up until this point, I think, I don't know him that well, I don't follow him that closely, but I think he had like mostly, if not only, dated black women before Taylor, you know? And so he has like a fade. So this dude has a fade, and people were asking him about his fade because he has his platform raised. He was already super popular, but his platform got knocked up a few levels by dating Taylor. There were more eyes on him than ever before. And so then, you know, everyone was asking him about his fade. And then about exactly a year ago, from when I'm speaking right now, they asked him about his fade and what it was like to like invent that look. And to his credit, Travis Kelce said, "It's the first day of Black History Month." What are you trying to do to me? Which, what an answer. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing I really didn't think about until that moment, is that if you're like a white dude, right? And something ignorant or even bigoted happens around you. Somebody asks an ignorant question, or somebody just says something, right? The expectation, if you're a good guy, is to say something immediately, just really stand up and be like, "Hey, that's not cool, that's not okay, don't do that," right? You know, just really, you can't even give it a second. You have to be like, "Hey, stop right there, okay? Hey, listen here, pal, cut it out. Hey, look, buddy, don't go any further, all right? Gosh darn it, that's racist. Don't you dare, not in my house, not. Nah, get a load of this guy. No way, not today, brother," right? That's the expectation, that you're gonna like notice it, you're gonna catch it, and you're gonna jump on it immediately. And if you don't do that, then you must have been with that thing. That's the assumption, right? But then you're also, and I really didn't give some of my white friends enough credit in this position, if you take too much of a stand, that's also suspicious. You know what I mean? You hear me? Like if something like ignorant happens around you, or an ignorant question gets asked of you, and then you're like, "What? No! Racism? Not today!" "Nah, buddy, I'm putting my foot down." Like, because then people are like, "Oh, what? Are you hiding something? Why are you so amped up like this?" You know? And so to his credit, he's like, "Guys, look, it's the first day of Black History Month. What are you trying to do to me? All right? I didn't invent that look, okay? I got a barber. He knows how to do the taper. Trim it down in the back, 2 or the 4. But if you want a fade, I know a guy. I know a dude, he's good. You know, he does mine." Travis Kelce's sitting there like, "What kind of questions are you asking me? How do y'all not know any black people? You cover the NFL." What's wrong with you? You know? And Travis and Taylor together, they do, to me at least, you know, the little bit that I engage with it, because I don't necessarily follow either one of them closely, but every time I see them together, they do look like picture perfect in a way where I'm like, okay, obviously you're going to get the conspiracy theories, but the conspiracy theories were weird to me because they were like people upset. But what's there to be upset about? It's football. She's blonde. We're in America. This is the most American thing that could be happening.
And there are people that are like, no, it's a psyop. I'm like, against who? It's a beautiful white couple. Who are we trying to trick? What is the plan here? That's how you can tell there's some people that just need to be mad about anything possible. I'm like, what? You're the one that said stop kneeling, and now you're mad at Taylor and Travis Kelce for holding hands. What's crazy about the Super Bowl for me is that no matter who wins, no matter who it is, the celebrations I've always found very odd. You know? I understand celebrating when you get the touchdown. I love those. I hated when the NFL tried to like clamp down on any showboat, any celebrations, because you just did one of the hardest things in the world. Imagine if you did that for like a scientist. Scientist finds the cure and he can't even do a little. And you're like, Josh, why are you comparing scientists finding cures to players getting a touchdown? I'm telling you right now, they're almost as hard as each other. Because I have some pretty sizable individuals in my family, you know. And I have a cousin, he's 2'11", all muscle. If I wanted to get around him, I'd need something sharp. So trust me when I tell you, if I get around this man and then outrun him and then get a touchdown, I'm hitting it hard. I'm hitting it in his face because it may never happen again. I love like a good touchdown celebration. They spike that ball and then you see what moves they have because these are big men. These are very big men. So they're not always the most agile. Like they're good at running, but usually in a straight line. A lot of the times when these players fall, it's falls where, look, I'm not a professional athlete, but I don't tip that easy. Every once in a while, you'll see an NFL player run it, and then somebody just sort of moves their shoulder, and they're like, uh-oh. That's my favorite, is when they catch it, and then somebody's too close, and they're like, we going down, all right. No, but when they get in the zone, they've spiked the ball, there's a couple seconds left, and they're allowed to celebrate. This is when you could really do it. And they hit something you didn't even think was possible, you know. Really flowy with it. You know what I mean? They use their hips and stuff. And so, no, that's my favorite. I wish it was even longer. They should get more time to do it, you know? Like hockey has whole breaks for fights. You could let a guy run in and get on his hands and knees, and then the other guy's like, yeah! No, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing to see them that excited, that happy. This is what they work for. This is what they put their bodies on the line for, and it's why they're in pain most of the time. These dudes retire, and it's not like they can just take an Advil. They just have headaches for the rest of their life. And so in this moment, they did what they came to do. They scored, maybe they won. Let them celebrate, you know? Some of the celebrations I don't get, though, like when they win and they have to throw some sort of liquid on the coach. I feel like we never ask the coach how they feel about it. Because they don't always look excited. It's almost like a requirement that whatever it is has to have some ice. And it has to be a surprise. They never do it from the front. It's always just poured all over the coach. Why is it? They win. They did what they came here to do, and they look at the coach and they're like, yeah, drown him. He'll love it. On top of everything, with Travis and Taylor and the Chiefs, you have the Eagles fans. Truly remarkable. They're terrifying. And it doesn't matter who wins, because whichever city wins, this happens every year, every Super Bowl, every Stanley Cup, whichever city wins looks like it's been attacked the next day. Why is it that the winning city looks so busted the day you won? Why are you tearing up your city? The team will win, and then their own fans will go out into the city and cause so much destruction. You would think the other team sent their city. Like, go get them, Kansas City. What they did to us. You know, I've watched it. I've watched it happen. You know, I lived in Chicago when the Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup. And a bus. They were leaving. Everybody's excited. And then there was just like a group think, that's a bus. It shouldn't be right side up. Let's go correct that right now. And then the bus driver is sitting in the bus like, y'all, I'm your ride. Why are y'all? We're going down. And on top of it all, you have the Super Bowl halftime show performed by Kendrick Lamar. And as far as we know, SZA and potentially some other guests, you know. And this is wild. You know, Kendrick said it about himself, but truly, we're seeing astronomical, historical levels of him being the biggest hater in the world. Fundamental hate. A hater where I pray I never have a hater that plans as well and executes hate so efficiently as Kendrick Lamar. This man hates the level of hate. Okay, so if you are not aware, in the beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, the first song that you could say maybe even kicked off the whole thing, some people say it was like that, but some people say it was first person shooter. And in first person shooter, Drake says, big as the what? Big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl. And I guess Kendrick said, challenge accepted. Because you're not ready for the level of hate I can bring. And then there was a whole beef, and this whole thing happened, and you know, Kendrick kind of, I don't know, I guess ruined Drake's life. And then it's announced that Kendrick is gonna be doing the Super Bowl halftime show. And Drake, he started suing. He started suing different parties. He started suing in different ways, different lawsuits claiming different things, some defamation, some were just petitions to get information, claiming that Not Like Us, the song that I'm assuming plays in Drake's head 24/7. You know, that song that they use bots. They must use bots. That's why it's so popular and everything. And then he withdrew one lawsuit and he filed another lawsuit. And it would seem, I'm not Drake and I'm not on his team and I don't know his lawyers, but it would seem that all these lawsuits are to in some way, hopefully, possibly, stop Kendrick Lamar from performing Not Like Us at the Super Bowl. That is what a lot of people think all of this is about. He just doesn't want him to perform that song at the Super Bowl. And so maybe he thinks that if he causes enough legal trouble and kicks up enough of a fuss, that the NFL will be like, hey, sir, Mr. Lamar, Mr. Morale. I heard it. Great album. If you could not do this one, because we just don't want to be involved in any suits and stuff. I think that's what Drake was hoping. And it appears that has not worked, because then a representative for the NFL came out and said Kendrick can do whatever songs he wants, whatever. It's his halftime show, so let him perform. You know what I mean? And that's got to be rough. That must be rough if you're Drake to hear that, because now all Drake can potentially do is sue sound. That's the only thing he hasn't tried. If he comes out and is like, hey, anybody making noise can get it, all right? It's the only thing I can think of. You know what I mean? Because it must be terrifying. If you're Drake, to think that Kendrick might perform Not Like Us at the Super Bowl halftime show, one of the most watched events in television, period, might be him doing a song he wrote about you. A song that already, as I'm speaking, has won 3 Grammys. That's gotta be terrifying, to think that he might go out there and perform Not Like Us at the Super Bowl. And the audience knows every word. That would be terrible. That would be, because I would never want to know that. Even if somebody made a song that was devastating about me and my life, and it really tore me up and everybody liked it, I wouldn't want to know that they knew it word for word. No. That's got to be terrifying, to think that Kendrick Lamar might get out there and perform Not Like Us. Might to a loud stadium of fans screaming. You know? Try and strike a chord, and it's probably I think even scarier than Kendrick performing Not Like Us is the audience performing Not Like Us. Because honestly, anticipation is enough. That's how real entertainment works, you know? Whether he performs it 17 times or he doesn't perform it at all, it's already met the moment in that way, you know? Everyone kicking up a stink about it is what actually caused it to get so much attention, just to see if he'll do it, you know? I mean, I hope he does it. I kind of hope it's the only thing he does. Mainly because the Super Bowl halftime show is recorded, and it has all of its own production elements that gets them submitted for the Emmys. And so there's a chance that this Grammy-winning song might become an Emmy-winning performance. Oh. I will say, though, sometimes it feels like with sports, it's the only time you see so much investment. You see so much come out, like just thrill, agony, all these emotions around a dude's team, around that game, around players and stuff. And I think it's because like sports is one of the few places, maybe even one of the last places, that like a man can express all the aspects of human emotion. He can cry over his team losing. He can be elated. He can be like giddy like a little kid or something. And it's one of the last like socially acceptable places. It's very easy. It's very easy to say like, no, just cry. It's okay for men to cry, but you're not ready. I love when people say like, no, come on. Just break through decades and generations of trauma to just like do what feels like what you want to be doing. No, the only thing stopping you is your mind. As if it's that simple, Sports is one of the last few places that these bonds can be created and that you can fully express yourself. It even creeps up in little different ways. Things that you are innocuous enough, but they run cover for other things, right? Like, let's go. Every one of us here knows a man who has a water bottle. Maybe it's half full, maybe it's a quarter full, but he throws it up in the air. And it flips, and it flips, and it flips, and then if it lands right side up on a flat surface, he will lose his mind. He throws the ball up. It flips, lands right side up. Let's go! Like, let's go was just invented to run cover for dudes crying. It is. Go! It's the same mouth movement. It's the same shapes. And if you scream, let's go hard enough, you squint, and when you squint, people can't tell you're crying. Because we've all known a man. All of us here have known a man where his team, whatever the reason it is that he loves that team, it doesn't matter. His team is down. All right? Loved this team since he was a little kid. Memories going to the stadium and everything. His team is down. It's a very important game. Playoff game. Maybe the game that decides whether or not his team goes to the Super Bowl. This team that he loves, who maybe has never got this far in a long, long time. And they're down with 3 seconds left. They have possession, and they throw a Hail Mary pass. All right? Wide receiver is running for his life as hard as he can. He jumps up in the air, and then by his fingertips, he manages to get control of the ball in the air. He clenches it tight. He lands. Touchdown. Touchdown. The team was behind, and now they're ahead. They've won. There were 3 seconds left. The game is over. And then your friend, who's not on the team, who's not at the game, your friend on his couch pops up in front of the TV. Let's go! Like, truly, as men, I don't even think we would need let's go if we just felt more comfortable saying, I really needed that. Because I even try now to add more sports analogies in the examples that I make, because I feel like it accesses some people who don't get what I'm saying otherwise. There are people that are truly, we give them a bad rap and everybody makes fun of them and everything, but there are people who are genuinely very, very intelligent. You can tell they're intelligent because they find a game that they love and all the game theory around it and all of the possible combinations of what a play could be go through their head. They can screen a play perfectly, almost like it has the lines that we see on the screen, right? But for them, it's playing out perfectly. They know what's happening next. They know someone's made a mistake as soon as the play starts because they understand the game that much. They just don't ever know why their wife is mad. But I think if we incorporated more sports analogies in arguments, people would understand what went wrong. You know what I mean? Like maybe you're mad at your boyfriend or your husband because he forgot something. He forgot something that was really important, And maybe it was like your sister's birthday and you had so much going on that you asked him to go pick something up and then meet you at the party. And instead of going to pick it up, he just met you at the party. And now the place is closed. And so it looks like you didn't get your sister anything. And so you're upset with him because you asked him for this one thing. And instead of doing it, he just kind of blew it off, or he wasn't paying attention, or he genuinely just forgot and then showed up and he doesn't understand why you're upset. But if you say to him, look, it was fourth quarter. It was fourth quarter, and you're at the 3rd-yard line. Like, you're in danger of the other team getting a safety. That's how clutch this is. You only have a few seconds to pass off that ball, right? And if you don't do it just right, that's it, We're not coming back from this, And instead of looking out for your receiver who's wide open until 5 p.m., like I said, who's wide open. Instead of passing off to your receiver in that moment, you're looking at your tight end, you're looking at your other receiver, you're looking at defensive linemen for some reason, your head is just in the clouds, and out of nowhere you allow yourself to get sacked, right? I'm telling you, that husband, that boyfriend, these are good people. He would be like, oh, damn. Her present was the receive. Oh. Got you. My bad, baby, my bad. No. Even in instances that people are insanely divided on, like to the point of threats, to the point of the threat of violence, even in political arguments, if you use some sort of football analogy, sometimes that cuts through, Like if Trump is the quarterback. And he hikes the ball, because this is the play that he called. He called this play. This was his play that he wanted. He gets to call the play. Not always, not every play, but this play specifically. He called this play because he wanted to do it, because he thought it was a good idea. This was his play, right? And then everybody was open. The tight end was open. The wide receiver was open. All right, defensive backs. Everybody was doing what they were supposed to do. Everybody on the sideline was cheering, giving support like they were supposed to, and everybody on the field was playing their position as best as possible. And the screen was even working well. Everybody's moving out of here. People are wide open, and then your quarterback, rather than throwing what could potentially be a touchdown pass, he just sort of threw it out of bounds. Which is confusing. So the next time that y'all huddle up, you ask him, you're like, hey, what was that? What happened? That was the play that you picked. Why'd you throw it out? Were you scared you were gonna get sacked? What is it a time thing? You're trying to stop the clock? You're trying to give him the benefit of the doubt in as many ways as you can. Hey, so what's the plan here? You're literally bent over, huddled up, looking in close. What's the plan? What are you doing? What is the goal here? Because I thought I was playing my position perfectly, and then you do the. So what's next? What happened? Tell me what happened. And then your quarterback is like, I think the ball was black. I don't know. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying that when I tune in to the Super Bowl on Sunday, I plan to watch a good game, hopefully a game that makes sense, hopefully a game that is epic enough that it can yield more analogies for my daily life. And if Kendrick Lamar performs Not Like Us, I'd be a liar if I didn't tell you that even though I wasn't on stage and I wasn't at the game, I wouldn't pop up off my couch like, let's go! Cincinnati, y'all been phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Josh Johnson Show. I'm Josh Johnson. Great start.
Yeah.
Welcome to
New
the
year,
Josh
new
Johnson
us.
Show. Welcome to the Josh Johnson Show. I'm joined by my. Welcome to the Josh Johnson Show. I'm Josh Johnson, joined by my co-host, fellow stand-up comedian Logan Nielsen. Logan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm good. This is the first one of the year, the first official new one of the year.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
back. We're back,
We
and
did
we're doing the regular show again.
We've been to Denver. We've been to Tacoma.
Tacoma. Yeah, we. I mean, I don't know how much we want to get into it, but like we also it took a little bit for us to get back in the swing of things because the end of 2022 was weird for us. I had the COVID pretty bad, and
Yeah.
and so that was some episodes fell behind because turns out I couldn't sit up for like more than 10 minutes at a time, and when you have to do hours of editing, that's a hard thing to do.
It is like you got the one that like really be out here stomping people in the chest. Like that's actually feels like a rare one to get than the ones that in New York, a lot of the people who get it will have it like bad for a day and then they're like, "Oh, I'm pretty sluggish, but I think I'm all right." And man, you had it like properly bad.
Well, but I didn't get any of the like respiratory stuff or anything. I mean, that might be because I'm vaxxed and all that too. But it's like I had the first really, really bad day. It was that Wednesday like after Christmas. That day was bad, and like I had like fever and like the best way I could describe it to is my limbs all felt like they weighed 100 pounds. Like I just like felt like held down on the bed. And then the next day, that Thursday, felt pretty good. And I was like, okay, just had the one bad day. I'll come out of it. I should be good then by, the weekend to whatever. And then that Friday, nope, back knocked down again.
Jeez.
That was the weird one. That was the weird thing that it like got better and then got worse and then got better. And now I just have these kind of little mild cold symptoms that are hanging on.
I mean, I'm glad you're okay now.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
Doing okay. Living. Gonna do it. It can only get better from here.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
I'd like to think so.
I mean, fuck, if not, though.
That would be wild if COVID was the start.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's either the start of just only an uphill, like everything's gonna get better, or like that's the sampler. That's setting the tone.
Yeah.
For the year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you? I'm trying to figure out how to. I mean, I'll just ask it straight out. Is there a lot of like meth in your general tri-state area? Would you say meth is the predominant drug?
Yeah. How do I put this politely? We love meth here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Good to know.
I don't know how bad it still is. I know Jess says one of the new problems is heroin. We're finally joining the 80s here, I think. But
Yeah, the meth thing. Okay, so the whole
this
reason,
is now just real quick. I'm going to ask you a counter question. This is how we're starting the year, is talking about meth. This is what we're gonna.
I feel like when I'm done telling you the story, I feel like you'll appreciate that we started with meth.
Okay.
I'm trying to put this in the best possible. Okay. So meth, as we've talked about on the podcast before, is pretty popular in my hometown. So it being popular where you are as well, I think you'll be able to relate. Okay. There was a time where my buddy was, just out there trying to find someone. You know what I mean? He was like kind of on the apps, but he was mostly going to bars. But it was just, it was a tough go of it, let's say. And I'm sure.
So he was the way you made it sound like he was out there trying to find someone specific, but he's just trying to find anyone.
He's trying to find anyone, any person that will work.
I thought maybe he was out searching for someone that he needed to track down, but he's trying to find someone.
Wouldn't that be wild if someone used the actual dating apps to like hunt down their enemy?
See, and I didn't mean dating app. I thought you meant just he was literally out just trying to find like a friend or something.
That's my bad, because I thought I said dating app, but maybe I never
not initially.
did.
No, you just said he was just out there trying to find someone.
Oh, okay.
And that's why I'm like that sentence could mean a variety of things.
So much.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, he's on like the obscure ones as well. Like, did you ever do Plenty of Fish back in the day?
I think I might have tried it briefly. I think so. Yeah.
Plenty of Fish and OK Cupid were where, at least in the early 2000s, apparently, were where the freaks were.
OK Cupid's the one I did. I didn't do Plenty of Fish, but I did do OK Cupid. I did do OK Cupid.
So Plenty of Fish brought out a Craigslist level of honesty in people that the other dating apps just don't.
Yeah.
Because I think it's because on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, all that stuff like that, you have to truly choose whether or not you're going to be yourself or you're going to be a catfish, because you can only lie so much before you're like fully lying, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas with like back in the day with Craigslist, it was just like, hey, this is me. All right.
Meet me at this corner.
Inquire, inquire within, but this is exactly what I need. This is exactly what I'm expecting, And so basically, he was
also, if you have a truck, you can take this dresser.
Yeah. Make sure you take the bed when you leave.
Yeah. I want to use it one last time and then get rid of it.
Yeah. And so he was on Plenty of Fish, I believe. And he started talking to this person. And it was like, I don't even know how to describe their rapport, because the way that he described them chatting at first was almost just, it felt natural, but it seemed to have felt natural in a boring way. You ever have someone tell you something that they think is really special and you're like, that's not that great? Like in your head, you don't say it to them, but like, but they just hit it off with a bunch of heys and how you doings and all the stuff like that. And but the way he described it was like, she was so easy to talk to. But I'm like, but you're saying all you said was, what's up?
Yeah.
So it's like, I get how two things could be true. It could be she's very easy to talk to, and you're not saying much,
Right, yeah.
You're not really pouring your heart out.
And maybe that's what the ease is. Maybe she just said, what's up back? And he's just like, ooh, soulmates.
Yeah, yeah. She even used 2 question marks, just like me. And so basically they start chatting and they set up a date, like time to meet. And she's like, oh, hey, do you smoke? Right? And he's like, oh, yeah, from time to time, And so they meet up, and the date is very okay. From what he's describing, like, I guess my man just doesn't need much, because even as he's describing the date, I'm like, so y'all just went to Chili's, but y'all were having the time of your lives. Like, I'm happy for him that he's happy.
I mean, have you ever had those Southwest egg rolls? They're great.
I've had them, and I don't know if it was worth a life change. Like he was like, he was so disappointed, because he was like, I was having the time of my life. Like, this man said the time of his life, and I was just like, bro, you gotta get out there more. Like,
yeah,
I'm not even trashing Chili's. I'm literally just saying, if you have the time of your life with someone who doesn't really seem to say much,
you just wanted to be out.
I think you just wanted to be out. I think
that just means you were happy to not be in your apartment.
I think you just needed some companionship, because you're beefing this up like it was the Titanic and it was a Thursday at Chili's.
Yeah, you could have been like, man, we could have gone to Chili's and you would have had the time of your life. If
I
that's
think so. I think, because this man said the time of his life.
Dude just wanted to go to Chili's.
Yes, the time of his life. Okay, so
because even on a first date, the time of your life. I mean, even if it's like wow, I think I'm in love with this person already. I still don't know if it'd be like time of your life. I don't know.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Dude,
you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. I feel like even if all the stars aligned, looking back, maybe you can romanticize it. But in the moment, to be like, I'm having the time of my life just picking out apps with this person.
Yeah. Well, because in any first date I've ever thought of, like, even if it's fun, there's still a sense of like nerves to it. That's not the time of your life. Like,
exactly.
And like, listen, I'm thinking back to my first date with Jess. Honestly, top to bottom, great date. But also, I've done some cool shit.
Yeah.
Time of my life? Of my life.
To be fair, it's in my hometown. So it's not like...
Fair.
It's not like there's a ton going on, right?
I mean, Chili's is the place to be. It sounds like.
And so then she looks at him and she's like, hey, do you want to smoke? And he was like,
gee, where will this lead?
Oh, here? And she was like, yeah, you want to go smoke in the bathroom real quick? And he was like,
in the bathroom?
In the bathroom. And he was like, oh, okay, I guess. Like, a little adventurous. Okay, she's a little naughty. She's a little naughty, right?
Oh, no.
And so then they go to the bathroom. It's so funny too, because she was like, okay, you sneak off to the bathroom and then I'll like come join you, right? Like, I'll just give it a beat and then I'll come join you. Don't want to bring the suspicion on them immediately, right?
Right.
He said that when he went to the bathroom, he turned around and she was behind him. Like, it was like she didn't wait at all. And so then they're in the stall together, and she pulls out, a full pipe, right? And he noticed that the pipe was a little too dirty.
Little dirty.
Yeah. And so then he's like, oh, what? I think he was scared to ask if she smoked meth, because it feels like such an accusation. So then he just sort of...
because if she doesn't, there's no coming back from that question.
Yes.
There's no... Then you can't backpedal.
Dude, the stakes...
Do you smoke meth?
The stakes of you've pulled out a pipe. All right, you smoke weed in a pipe. You've pulled out a pipe. The pipe just looks a little like rotten. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the difference in pipe should look like, but he was saying it looked a little too dirty, right?
Yeah.
And then before the meth can come out, he wants to be like, hey, do you smoke meth? But he's like, I really didn't want to ask, because it would just kill everything. It would kill.
It would ruin the time of his life.
Because if she doesn't smoke meth, to your point, there's no coming back.
No,
Because
no,
now
you can't.
Now you sound like you smoke meth. You sound like you were excited it was about to be meth. Do you know what I mean? Like if someone pulls out a pipe, even at a party, if someone pulls out a one hitter and you're like, oh, do you smoke meth? You sound like you want the meth. That is what that sounds like if they don't smoke meth.
Ooh, is that meth?
And if you do smoke meth, now, once again, you've already called it. He's ruined the time of his life because now meth is about to come out. And so sure enough, meth comes out. Before he can like even fully ask, she was like, this is a big one.
This is a big one.
Because I guess she was trying to do something special for the day.
She also wants to have the time of her life.
Yes.
But she needs a little hit of something to really get there.
I think she needs a touch of help from Mr. Methy Meth. She needs a little bit of help from Nathaniel.
Nathaniel Amphetamine.
Steen. And so she pops out. She goes ahead and pops out Nathaniel, and she's like, "It's a big one."
It's a big one. It's such a.
And then he goes, "Oh, okay." And he was like as she's about to like get it started, he's like, "Hey, I'm not really comfortable. I don't really do that. Like we can go back and eat or anything." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And she seemed a little disappointed and like maybe even a little embarrassed. Who knows? Because I imagine, you know, obviously, do you smoke? There's a lot to fill in there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so you know, cigarettes. I mean, and so basically they stop in the moment. She's like, "Oh, okay, all right. Well, sorry that I." And he's like, "Oh, don't apologize. It's okay." Like he's really trying to save this date. So he's like,
I would, but I'm full.
No, don't. It's all good. It's all good. It happens. You know, this is perfectly normal. So anyway, he then gets out of the stall because he was always with his back to the door. So then he opens the door and then he said he opened the door, was walking out, thought that she was right behind him, but when he turned around, not only had she let the door close again, there was a puff of smoke coming through the. And he was like, "I've never smoked meth, but I didn't know you could do it that fast. Like I didn't know." He's like, by the time I turned around, still in the bathroom, by the time I turned around, it was cloudy. Yeah. And so then he's walking out and she's walking out behind me. He's like, "Oh no. Like now this is a meth date because you did it."
A meth date.
Like you hit it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then go.
Because that's now a different person coming out.
Exactly. So now they go and sit back down. And I don't know the specifics. I don't know how long it takes meth to meth you. Okay?
To meth with you.
Sure.
that you're gonna roll your eyes at.
Amphetamine was wild. Meth with you felt like, all right, okay, I see what you're trying to turn me into. And so
you said Nathaniel first, so I don't want to.
So they sit down.
I don't want to hear it.
And they go ahead and order. And she ordered a little more than they talked about because You know, when you sit down with somebody and you're like, oh, what do you think you'll get? And they're like, oh, I might get this and this or whatever. Like, she went ahead and ordered like a couple things. And he's like, I don't even know if it was stream of consciousness or if she was actually ordering. Like, I don't know if she was just saying names of foods they had or if she was actually ordering. But either way, the server wrote down like 5 things, you know?
Yeah.
And so they're talking, and even as they're talking, she's like clearly different. Just eyes are a little wider. And he was like trying to keep the date like normal because he really seemed to like her, I guess, or wanted to hold on to whatever infatuation he built up around her, and just was trying to talk. And the whole time she's nodding, eyes wide, like nodding hard at everything he's saying, and has grabbed a napkin and started cleaning the edge of the table. Like off to the side. So she just whacks it on and whacks it off.
And you know, while he's telling a story, she's like, yeah. Saying 1,000 yeahs.
Oh man. And then the food comes. So they're just, I guess she's just like that.
And
for
she
a little
screams.
The food comes and she actually says, "Is this ours?" Right? She's like, "Is this?"
Oh, it's so funny.
Is this ours?
Is this?
And he's like, yeah, it's what we ordered. And she's like, I ordered all this, like. And he was like, yeah. And the server's still standing there. And he's like, yeah. And she was like, I don't think I'd do that.
Oh.
And then him and the server just sort of look at each other. And then look at her. And they're both kind of like, yeah, but you did though.
You did.
Like you said nachos, chili cheeseburger. Like you were just saying all the words. Maybe you didn't mean them. Mm-hmm. Maybe you literally only meant the first thing you said, and just you kept talking at the same volume.
Yeah.
And so we all thought that's what you ordered. Once again, 2 things can be true at the same time. But yeah, this is all yours. And she was like, oh, okay. I guess I'll try.
I guess I'll try.
And then like didn't really like obviously didn't eat everything that she ordered, but was like picking at everything perfectly. Was just like a bite of this, drop a bite of this, and then still like nodding at everything at him. As
I like to imagine she's actually picking at it like a bird. I don't know why. That's just just hitting her face on everything a little bit.
And so then they're basically just sitting there. He's finished his food. She still has half the table to eat. And a very, very clean corner of the table.
Rubbing the varnish off on that one.
And so he's like, oh, so do you think you're done? Like, should I get the check and everything? And she was like, yeah, I think I think I'm done. Right? Just lots of yes, just like you said. Right?
Yeah. How much copper do you think is in this place?
But my favorite detail, my favorite part is that at the end he's like, oh, okay, so, and he's given up now. Like he really does know that this is over. There's no salvaging this, you know?
Oh, what? He didn't want a second date with the lady who did the meth in the Chili's bathroom?
That tried to do it in the bathroom with him. And then when he declined was like, what? I'm not going to waste it.
Yeah. I can't believe he's not going to give her another chance, and he's pulling the ripcord on this.
And so at the end, he's like, so you want me to give you a ride home or anything? She looked him dead in his face. Was like, no, I think I'll run.
I was just going to say, because she said no, and then turned around and sprinted down the road. But literally, no, I'm going to run.
And so they walked out together. He went to his truck. And then she was like, okay, this was fun. Bye. And then just like took off. And it was like, I was really worried because she wasn't running back in the direction that I picked her up.
Oh.
Yeah, she was just going for a run, I think.
She had to run by the meth store. Get some more.
She had to run back to her dealer and be like, can you believe it? Can you believe that he would say that he smoked and then he wouldn't smoke with me? And then when I smoked, he got all weird and then he tried to make me eat a bunch of food. And so I just left. Like, I could easily see that being her version of the story.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Now, what would you do? You're having and let's put yourself in his shoes. It doesn't have to necessarily be Chili's, but like you are having the time of your life. This date is going so well. You are just like, wow, she's amazing. You're smitten.
Yeah.
And then she busts out some meth. What does a Josh Johnson do in this scenario?
So I'm very worried that I wouldn't recognize it immediately. I think I'm worried because he smokes enough that he just knew that the differences in pipes and the difference, you know what I mean?
But you'd know once a rock comes into play that you...
I think I'd have a hard time, and I know this shouldn't matter, but I do think I'd have a hard time distinguishing the meth from crack. All right.
But